Welcome, everybody. It's Thursday night, so you know what that means. It's time for another episode of Radiation Therapy. We're coming at you a little bit later tonight than usual because Jay Fry is an asshole. I'm your host, the Brash Rhino. With me, as always, is Jay Fry.
Yes, and because we delayed it, I am always with you.
That's true. And the Greasy Faggot.
Sup?
How are you guys doing?
What an intro. I'm good. I'm good.
Good.
I'm not a person.
I was hoping that Jay, that you were going to scream like do your best Gilbert Godfrey impression, but
oh no, I couldn't. Plus, there's people in the rooms nearby, and
yeah, that's true. You have to scream really loud to do that. Well, Radiation Therapy is the only podcast clinically proven to kill acute cases of social justice cancer, and tonight we're going to jump right in with a follow-up to a story that we had last week, and that is the University of Arizona to revise social justice advocates positions. So let's see here. The update is, okay. In response, the university has scrubbed the job listing from its website, noting that it is in the process of reviewing the title and responsibilities. And for those that may have not heard the story last week, the University of Arizona announced
all 112 of you.
All 112 of you recently announced that it will, that it had planned to pay students $10 an hour to assume the responsibilities of social justice advocates. This included basically narking on their fellow students and looking for both active and passive microaggressions and, bullshit like that. So there's a big backlash. I mean, why wouldn't there be a backlash to basically paying students to narc on people for not conforming to Big Brother's rules and also committing thought crimes? So yeah, they've scrubbed that job listing from the website, and they're going to review that stuff and make some changes at the least in the title of social justice alarmist is what it should be. But yeah, basically paying these idiotic kids who don't know any better to be the Gestapo for the University of Arizona. So what do you guys think of that quick backtrack?
I'm honestly not surprised.
Yeah. I think they got their 30 people, and then they were explaining what the deal was and how they were going to utilize the manpower, and it turned into an uproar because someone used manpower, and then everybody ended up writing up everybody else. And they realized that they couldn't go through with it because they had just had to fire all 30 people for mansplaining to each other about why manpower is not the right word to use.
I mean, it
no survivors. That's what happened.
Yeah, they brought a bunch of cannibals into the same room and said, "Hey, everybody else is for dinner," and people just started destroying one another. And yeah, what a stupid idea. And it kind of warms my heart that there is some sanity left, where somebody at the university said, well, maybe this isn't a good idea.
I don't think that's what happened. I think it was on this more.
More what?
We're gonna need to work on this more. We just had to fire everybody. I've literally seen them tear each other apart in comment sections. Like Nathan Domingo, who punched Moldylocks in the face. Someone said that he looked, his haircut was retarded, and that spurned, like, they were attacking the Nazi for his views, and someone called his hair retarded, and that led into like an all-out battle.
Blood in the water.
Oil. Oh, it was beautiful, man.
Just blood in the water. That's all that is.
Yeah, and it's like,
oh man,
your guys are all on the same side.
When everything, when you are programmed, when a person is programmed to take offense at every damn thing that exists, it's impossible for that group to work together. Because people say stuff that they either don't mean, or they say something out of ignorance, or accidentally phrase something in a way they didn't intend, and it's all of a sudden it's equal to Nazism and Hitler.
It is Hitler Nazis.
So yeah, I'm glad that for whatever reason they turned it around. I'm glad they turned it around.
For now.
For now.
Someone was saying...
No, Steve, Nathan's a micro-marine.
One of my coworkers was saying something along those lines. It's like this might have been too big of a push. And so I was talking to him about it, and he's like, well, they might implement something small, because like our government does the same thing with laws. It's like they'll push you and push you and push you until there's a backlash, and then they'll back off a little bit, but you'd already backed up a little bit, right?
Oh, yeah.
And
but you've taken 5 steps forward, 1 step back.
Well, no, not always. Like in this situation, it would be more like 3 steps forward, 1 step. No, 3 steps back and 1 step forward, because you took 1 step too far back. That the people, like whoever's implementing these rules, like be it the government or like this university with like this Gestapo bullshit, is, oh no, they're going to back off a little bit and they're going to wait. And then they're going to go back and push you back 3 more steps. And then you're going to go forward 1 step, be like, hey, I don't like this. But you've already moved back 4 steps.
Oh, okay. I was from the other angle. I was saying that the government had moved 4 steps forward against us, and then they took a step back, or the college in this case. But yeah, they've got the safe spaces. They've got the gender neutral pronouns. They've got the people looking out for gender neutral pronouns, but then that affected them. So now they've still got the gender neutral pronouns, but now they're not enforcing them with.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, again, for now, because people bitched about it. I mean, wasn't there a backlash a little bit from the gender neutral pronouns? I remember some. Yeah. But again, biphobia. I know it well.
And now they're
bitter
really
lesbians.
they're pissed because LGBT kind of insinuates that there are 2 genders. They're attacking it pretty strongly.
Oh my God, just leave me alone. Leave me alone. I just want to eat pussy and suck dick. Like, just leave me alone. I want to do what I want to do. Fuck off.
Well, you can do those things, but you're basically being Hitler unless you say you're gender neutral, non-conforming, etc., etc.
I think Suarez just gave you half an amen. It's like, suck a dick. Hell yeah, girl. Just go with it.
Love you, Steven. But yeah, no, it's then I'm Hitler. Okay, what now?
Yeah, I
don't care.
That is kind of the best way to approach it, is just say, yeah, okay, so let's grant that I'm a Nazi and Hitler, even though I'm not. What now? What's next in that conversation?
It's like, what are you going to do to me?
On.
Yeah, it's like, what are you going to do to me next? Yeah, so what? What do you do? Punch me in the face? Fuck off. Like, I'm not doing anything to you besides existing.
But
People.
we can't normalize this kind of hate while I burn down your fucking.
Remember how much shit Jimmy Fallon got for normalizing Trump? When he just had him on and just treated him like any other guest and did some wacky stuff. And I mean, jeez.
That hair rubbing thing was I don't know.
Cringy. Yeah, it was cringy. It's like, stop touching someone's hair. What are you trying to prove? Oh, he has real hair.
I'm pretty sure that.
Why does that matter?
I'm pretty sure that was set up probably weeks in advance.
I mean,
hey, we want to do this joke with the hair. Is he cool with that? But so speaking of college madness, Jay, you had another story you wanted to bring up.
Yeah, aside from the fact that I miss Macoptera and his transitions. God,
at least he's not being. At least we know he's not being eaten by cannibals.
Expect him to make it past the flight with what's been going on.
Or is he?
Or has he been eaten by cannibals repeatedly?
It's possible.
There's a bi is your sexual orientation, not the pipelines you can get drinks down. They're greasy. So one pipeline.
No, it was my e-cig.
Sick. Mizzou University, which has been famous for rich black kids whose parents make $20 million going on hunger strikes because of oppression. They've had to increase their funding basically because they've lost 7.6%. They're down in enrollment and they're going to have to fire 400 of their 13,000 person staff. So yeah, you do have consequences for doing the stupid shit you're doing.
The article
Especially
I read
when you
on
go running up and what?
I was just say the article I read on it said they're gonna laying off or cutting 400 positions. So they're gonna lay off some people right off the bat, and the ones that are gonna be laid off through attrition are non-tenured professors who they're just gonna let their contracts expire. So how many of those professors do you think were in the protests and were actively encouraging their students to fight oppression and now who will have to actively search for new jobs?
Well, they fired Glick, didn't they? Melissa Glick, wasn't that her name?
Click.
Michelle.
Oh,
yeah,
Glick.
Yeah, they showed her the door.
We need some muscle over here.
Oh, yeah. That lady, yeah.
Yeah, the journalism ethics teacher. That was pretty rich. That seems like it should have been a Saturday Night Live sketch.
Yeah. Oh my God.
Like the cop drug dealer. The unethical ethic teacher. Khan actually had a that would in uniform go to parties and try to buy drugs off of people. He was actually pretty successful.
Yes, he was. See, Steven says she said she was fired because she's white. That would be rich. I would very much like to see that quote.
Citation needed, Steven.
Yeah, I just want to see the source on that. And Xanthan 6669 was said, until we know who is being fired, we won't know if they're pro-Antifa crazy asshole or anti-Antifa teachers. It all really depends on who the big boss folks are. She said she was fired because she was white. Well, sucks for her. Under SJW logic, whites don't matter. Tough tits.
That's a good one. Oh man.
He probably did have some tough tits.
Colleges are colleges are basically just lol cows nowadays.
But that's sad. They're not
Yeah,
supposed to be.
But hopefully there's enough pushback that some of this shit just goes down. I remember reading an article saying that the kids that are coming up in the upcoming generation, kids are in high school right now, are overwhelmingly conservative. So I think some of them are seeing through the bullshit, and basically all that it is just attempts to control what they say, control what they think, and control what they do. And
not the kids I date. No, not the kids I know.
Ugh. Coming from terrible. The guy who dates everyone by how old they were during 9/11.
That's important to me. Like you have to know where you were. Can't be born after it. That's what grade were you in? Because that's important to me.
Alrighty then. All right, guys. So the enormous story, the basically the collective ejaculation, multiple orgasm,
huge story.
Huge story was Trump, quote unquote, leaking classified information to the Russians. And if you put the word Russian and Trump in the same sentence, you are guaranteed to make leftists everywhere cream their jeans. So, Jay, why don't you give us a breakdown of this incredibly inane story?
Oh, geez. So there's a multi, I want to say jurisdictional, but really it's a multinational. The many nations were involved. Secrets that were being contained, which McMaster's, HR McMaster's, he said Trump doesn't even know what the classified information is, so he couldn't leak it. We're going back to claiming ignorance. That's seems working. But the claim is that the president no way compromised any sources or methods because he didn't know the sources or methods.
Oh my God.
But he was talking with the Russian foreign minister after his meeting with the Turkish went around beating everybody up for some reason. And he was just bragging about what was happening. There was no huge leak of information. You can't even point to like words that were said that he violated national security or so they started saying it was not confidential, but it's a secret
because they can't say need that to know basis.
No, this is supposedly top secret stuff, but they're calling it because they want to use the word as more of a agreement between people, because Trump himself, as the executive branch's main swinging dick, under any circumstances divulge top secret information because he is the party that deems it. That's his bailiwick. That's his wheelhouse. So he can't do that. He if the president says something, he means to say it. 2 is an acceptable person for him to say it to because he's the freaking president of the United States. And confidentiality instead as like a get around to screw him out of it being really what it is, which is talking out of school, if you want to call it that. But the president, bottom line, cannot top secret anything because the president talks in top secret all the time. Like if he says anything to anybody, because he's the head of state, it's a secret. Around that is by making him the person who can break top secret, basically.
Mm.
And didn't you tell me earlier that he also basically all top secret designations come from the executive. So those that can deem information top secret have been given that authority by the president. Basically.
Well, there's two versions of top secret. There's what the executive branch deems top secret, and anybody can deem something top secret using the office of the presidency because they've been granted that power by the president or by the staff, really. And then there's communications with foreign leaders, which is what's called born classified, born secret, born confidential. You imagine the president, the leader of the country, anything he says is classified because he's the leader of a country and it's born classified. So to get it out there, to be repeatable, his actions, he's the one who reality. Like you can't deem a tweet confidential, but it's the leader of a free country saying something to somebody, which is like the basis of the born classified umbrella, really. So president cannot, under any circumstances, anyone he talks to that he has then deemed acceptable, he can read them in on anything. He's the freaking president. But trying to weasel around it.
But to hear the regressive media outlets talk about it, it was treason of the highest order and impeachment is imminent and Trump will soon be out of office, which would put in Mike Pence, who is arguably more conservative and shocks the gays.
Like shock the gay away Pence.
So yeah, I don't know how that plan is supposed to work, because if they can get Pence to resign or be impeached and removed from office, the next guy is Paul Ryan. So I'm not sure what the end game is for them at this point.
Well,
I think I figured it out. Yeah, I think this is all a play by Paul Ryan. He's the one with the Russians.
Yeah,
you can't start with getting the vice president out because he just gets replaced. But I actually, during the debate with Mike Pence, I really liked the guy. I thought he did a great job, and he was wonderful.
Yeah.
People get the shock. That's a great policy to have if you're electrodes. So,
yes, Stephen, indeed. Fuck Paul Ryan. Yeah, so from what I understand,
like, what was anything about Mike Pence though?
Yeah, he doesn't. But okay, but from what I understand, the intel that he was allegedly, or that he allegedly shared, was that laptops could possibly have bombs, and that's a concern.
Which literally has been in the news, and there's a list of countries that you can't take electronics into or out of because of this possibility. But
I was just gonna say, I've been flying for a long time now, and since 9/11, I've had to show my laptop to the TSA. Right?
Yeah.
So how is this news? How is this?
You can't even have your laptop in a laptop bag. Like they're always like, you have to remove your laptop from the bag.
Last time I flew, I had to turn it on.
Oh wow, I haven't had to do that for a while.
Well, I flew out of Detroit, and Detroit was where the underwear bomber was landing. So.
Oh, okay.
The class or the restricted items Have you guys been to an airport that has like
a big case?
A display case with
Yeah. There's a lot of
Yeah.
stuff in there.
I saw a lantern.
Who takes a lantern on an airplane?
I saw a lantern. That's all I'm saying.
Huh.
I took the bus. This is a few years ago when that Florida, the pastor in Florida was gonna burn a Quran. Apparently, they were doing all sorts of special security sweeps, and a lot of people in Florida have machetes.
That is true.
There was an inordinate amount of machetes in a cart that people were getting taken from them. I was like, what the shit?
Well, Jay, speaking of the Clintons' trail of blood, Seth Rich was in the news today or this week. How was that for a transition?
I liked it.
It makes me miss Bob.
So yeah, I miss Bob too. So so there was Fox 5, which was I believe a DC, it's a DC area station or a Maryland station, something like that.
Fox 5 is probably a bunch of different.
Well, yeah, I think it was a local affiliate though.
We have Fox 2.
Huh.
So it's just those first 7 channels have those couple of different channels. So there's probably a bunch of Fox 5s.
Oh yeah. Well, there's Fox 5s all over the country, but this one's local to, I believe, DC, Maryland, Virginia, somewhere in there. But they came out with a story. The headline was "Family's Private Investigator. There is evidence Seth Rich had contact with WikiLeaks prior to his death." If you had been on Reddit on R the Donald, it was a solid wall of it's happening, it's going down. Clintons are going to be, the Clintons are going to prison, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Podesta, we're coming for you, kind of stuff like that. And I was looking at this, and I was kind of retweeting stuff because it seemed like, from according to the story, basically they reported that that there was a private investigator that was being paid for by the family that was, investigating Seth Rich's murder. And here's what they said. So the Fox 5 DC anchor says, you have sources at the FBI saying that there is information. Wheeler, for sure. Fox 5 reporter, that could link Seth Rich to WikiLeaks. Wheeler, absolutely, yeah, that's confirmed. So there's an update to this story, and it says, we want to update you on a story you first saw on Fox 5 DC. We want to make an important clarification on claims that were made by Rod Wheeler, the private investigator hired by Seth Rich's family, whose services are being paid for by a third party. What he told Fox 5 on camera Monday regarding Seth Rich's murder investigation is in clear contrast to what he has said over the last 48 hours. Rod Wheeler has since backtracked. So it was a big story. The Twitter was actually trending Seth Rich, which was kind of crazy. Let's see. Okay. Wheeler's now saying there was a miscommunication. And when asked if Wheeler is still working for Seth Rich's family, he told the Fox 5 DC the contract still stands. Ties have not been severed. They tried to reach the Rich family, but weren't able to do so. A spokesperson for the family says the family has relayed their deep disappointment with Rod Wheeler's conduct over the past 48 hours and is exploring legal avenues to the family. So, sounds like a shit show.
That change of story is, I cannot say it is the new Ben, because he is.
Sorry, say that again. You broke up. It's the new what?
The new story is, I can't answer that. That's the new story. He didn't take everything back. Like, oh, my sources were wrong. I was wrong. I lied to everybody. I apologize. It's I can't say, because he is under agreement in his contract with the family that the family is the one who gives the nod for him to say anything. And that family is a Democrat family.
Ooh, yeah, that's true, huh?
They're just Seth Rich doesn't give a shit about the politics. He was doing it for his family. That's why he was a whistleblower, because he doesn't have the ideology on lock like his family did. You see that sometimes with the crazy stuff, like there was a woman who was killed in England by a black teen, and at her funeral service, her cuck of a husband did an African rope burning ceremony. Like, this is your ideology. You're putting it above reason. And that's what this family is doing. What he says he said is the bottom line for, I'm not saying truthfulness, but what he says is still on the record. He didn't make any retractions. He simply said, I can't say now because gag order ensued.
It'll be interesting to see if the family does bring charges against him. Or not charges, but takes legal action against him.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. And if chat could focus on topic, please.
Gosh, guys, seriously.
Instead of they're measuring blade dick sizes. Oh, machetes are better than fucking katanas. Oh, katanas are better than fucking machetes.
You fucking nerds.
Guns. Guns.
Have you guys ever
Zanfan? I mean,
if you guys ever want to
fucking Steven's gonna.
If you guys ever are on Reddit, look up a subreddit called Mall Ninjas. You won't be disappointed.
Mall Ninjas?
Fantastic. Oh, it's great stuff.
We have a term for that in the gun community, where you strap on like every doodad possible to your rifle, and it ends up being like a 20-pound rifle, and it's got like a laser sight and like 3 flashlights, and freaking shoot, the things are so heavy with like 5 different sights on the thing.
Yeah.
So.
I can't remember. My buddy's really he's really into ARs. Like, he has a very expensive AR with all the right attachments, and I can't remember what the term that he used for those guys, but basically those guys are a big joke. The guys who do it seriously and without irony.
Those are weekend warriors, or it's called mall ninjas when you strap on a bunch of stuff to it. Like, you need a light, a sling, and possibly an optic. That's all you need. Maybe a grip, but like, that's it. You don't need a scope with a red dot on the side with a laser or 2 lasers, one for regular vision, one for night vision. Like, calm it down, bud. But yeah, I built my my current AR, and it was $2,300.
That's
they can get up there.
That's not terrible. I mean, that is that's probably like what, mid-range for what you could spend on an AR, putting an AR together.
It's high end, but it's low high end, because I did 70-75 and you can do a forged aluminum. You can do billeted, which they carve it out of a solid block. Fits better because it's precision crafted.
Yeah.
Then you're talking like, it's not going to break either way. So you're really just doing it for what you think is something better, because accuracy comes from trigger and barrel, and hey, those guys, are where you spend the money.
Yeah.
What topic are we on again?
Yeah, could we get back on topic?
Yeah. Do you have anything left? Do you have anything else to say on Seth Rich?
Just that we get justice for him, and God bless him.
Yeah, whoever, I hope whoever killed him for whatever reason is caught, prosecuted, and thrown in jail. So
Yeah, it's just a run of the mill burglary where nothing was taken.
yeah, gotta love those burglaries where nothing was taken. So all right, so next topic we have, of course, we have Russian Deadpool.
That is a shit transition.
And okay, go. You come up with one right now and do it. Do it. No pressure.
Speaking of
murdered
recently.
Yeah. So, what's this guy's online name? Something feminist. I can't remember his.
No, he is the Russian Deadpool.
Skeptic feminist.
The Skeptic Feminist channel.
Oh, he actually goes by Russian Deadpool?
Yeah, but he's part of the Skeptic Feminist channel. There's 3 people.
Yeah. So this skeptic feminist, self-described feminist, Alexander Kolpakov.
Still better attempt than Blonde makes trying to get those names out there.
So I think this guy lives somewhere around Denver, in Clifton, looks like. He was arrested and is being held at the county jail on suspicion of second-degree murder. He shot his girlfriend, and she was found. Yeah, she was found dead outside of their home. That was after deputies responded to reports of gunshots. The slain woman was identified on Monday afternoon as 31-year-old Heather Annabelle, who I understand was also part of the channel. Is that correct?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
So sad, very sad. Irony that a feminist killed his girlfriend. There's a lot of people making some little bit distasteful jokes about the whole situation, but the irony, of course, is there.
Well, it's not really irony so much as it's really a major complaint of the feminist organization as a whole. But you see it all the time. Like Kevin Logan, he's a feminist, calls women cunts all the time. There is not so much hypocrisy, but there is that. I mean, it happens. It's
how do you
when they do it, it's different. Apparently, somehow,
so
magically.
Wait, how is he? When he's calling them a cunt, is it like, "Oi, cunt, how you doing?" Or is it, "You are a cunt"?
Well, it's literally.
Well, his
chew on head, he called her this cunt,
and like pretty much a fleshlight in that whole situation, which he apologized for. But also, Kevin Logan's excuse on that one is that cunt is used differently. It's not a quote gendered slur in Australia.
Yeah, when I call people dicks, I don't actually mean a penis, but it's still gendered.
I mean, look,
when you call a chick a dick, you don't, because you use cunt.
The word cunt does have a different meaning in Australia and also Great Britain. I mean, it's sort of like the word fuck, which can have all kinds of different uses, sort of like that. So I mean, it's not necessarily an insult against women, but we're not, this guy didn't live in Australia and didn't live in the UK. He lived in the United States, where it does sort of have that meaning.
Well, Kevin Logan is English.
Oh, Kevin Logan. No, wait.
You just said cunt. But Steven asked if you can remember any distasteful jokes. And what is his name? Harmful Opinions, I think it was, said that something about feminists believing that violence against women is unacceptable, but being a skeptic, you have to question that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh.
So
And
that
he
was
did.
a
He
rather.
did. He did question it.
So that's your distasteful joke. He has repeatedly, like, I've only seen 3 videos, and in each of the 3 videos I saw was like almost a Bearing response to him responding to Bearing, and he threatened to cut him and stab him and things like that. Then there's the claim of PTSD while he was on shrooms. But as far as PTSD goes, I mean, it can happen at any time, and usually it's about loud noises or debris. Like, a lot of PTSD is triggered by debris in a road because of IEDs exploding or having been in a road. You can get triggered by litter. But hanging out in your house while Skyping with your girlfriend while your other girlfriend is next to you, it just sounds like a bad mushroom trip, and they're trying to use a respected order like PTSD to try to put other people in their place with it. Now, has he gone to the VA and been diagnosed with PTSD, or is this another bullshit? I'm bipolar because
reasons.
I don't like Tuesdays. Yeah, exactly. Like which one? Was there research involved? Was a doctor to prescribe you with it?
Self-diagnosis.
Yeah. Tumblr diagnosis. Which one was it?
Yeah.
But you can't say for certain, because a lot of vets they hate the medications they're given, and they self-medicate with drugs or alcohol. So who knows what's true? I doubt we're going to get it from either side. But these same motherfuckers who this ideology, it sucks because we're going to break into a different topic here real quick. But the people who are bashing the anti-feminists for this feminist killing his girlfriend are the same ones who are like, well, we're glad Roger Ailes is finally burning alive because he has a different view than us.
Yep.
It's like, you fucking people just yesterday were making these random claims that that this ideology thing, and I don't see people like, well, he was a feminist, so of course he was going to murder his girlfriend. No one's saying that. No one's saying anything like that. They're just being dicks because he was a dick, and people with violence repeatedly. Is the one that says mental illness needs to be loved and compassionated, and when I want to get the fuck away from somebody who's crazy.
Yeah, that you're a bad person if you don't want to be around someone who's acting insane. So, yeah, sad story. Sad story.
Woman in the pussy hat. It's not something you normally wear.
So we will we'll keep tabs on this, and I'm sure this guy will be going to trial soon, and we'll keep updates on it as we see them come across. So, all right, let's go to something a little lighter, and
speaking of crazy feminists,
more entertaining. Yeah, speaking of crazy feminists, that's a great transition. I wish I would have thought of that one. Where were you on that one? Huh?
I was right here. I just did it.
I'm talking to myself. Okay.
Oh,
jeez. Oh. All right. So, from Heat Street, Marvel cancels Ta-Nehisi Coates' Black Lives Matter comic due to poor sales. Now, no one's ever accused. Yeah, no one's ever accused Heat Street of being objective, but yeah, this is pretty great. So this writer, Marvel's had, we've talked about this on the show before. Marvel's had this push where they, for the past, 6-7 years, they have been pushing social justice like crazy. So bad so that their director of publication or I can't remember the guy's exact title, but this guy, he's a Marvel VP. He had to come out and explain to investors that the reason for their terrible sales. Okay, so it's David Gabriel, Marvel Senior Vice President of Sales and Marketing. He told them that they are struggling to sell comics because the Marvel readers, who are overwhelmingly male, do not want.
That's surprising.
Yeah, that they don't want to see diversity, minority, or female heroes, which is a load of bullshit. You know, in my experience with comic book fans and comic readers, they don't give a shit what color the characters are, what gender they are, as long as they're not, you know, trying to replace, their long-standing heroes, right? But they don't care what race or what color or what anything the character is. They just want good stories. That's what they want. And
to a lesser extent, but still really popular, canon is key.
Yes, canon, definitely. You got to keep the canon. Don't try to replace heroes. You know, it makes sense. You know, it makes sense if you're having like a Captain America, you know, if he gets killed off, you know, the comics love to kill people off, kill characters off. So they killed off Captain America a few years ago, and they brought in, oh man, what's his name?
Winter Soldier. Which one are we talking?
When they brought in the Black Captain America, it was Falcon. Yeah, so Falcon became the new Captain America. That made sense in the story. What didn't make sense is bringing back Captain America just to reveal that he was a Nazi the entire time that Captain America has been around. He's been a secret Nazi. That's going to piss comic book fans off. That's going to get them to stop buying your books. Another way to get fans to stop buying Marvel books is to take the title Black Panther and the Crew and axe it after 2 issues because readers are tired of their forced diversity. Okay, so here's from the article. Joined by Luke Cage, Manifold, Misty Knight, and Storm, the titular superhero who entered the limelight with Captain America Civil War gathers his all-black crew of superheroes to investigate the death of civil rights activists who died in police custody. This has echoes of the Sandra Bland death. So, set in the near future of Harlem, turned police state, patrolled by robotic police officers, controlled by a private security contractor, the comic has every element you'd expect from a comic attempting to tell a story inspired by Black Lives Matter. The cops beat people up for no reason. And, you know, basically, you can. Okay, so for guys who are, or for anybody who's watching with us right now, or 0 of 10, he says, you can go into the description, and there's a link to the Heat Street article where you can actually see the pages. And basically, this whole book went with a Black Lives Matters storyline, and people are sick of it. You know,
well, go ahead. Luke Cage on Netflix, but it was still a really good story.
You know, that's one I haven't finished.
So good. Like it's more than tolerable because he's not a well-known character, so the backstory's not beaten to death. But they kind of kept the backstory. They kind of made it a black issue, and he does work in Harlem, so that's not really a stretch. Really good job with the show, Luke Cage, and keeping him basically to canon, but moving it along to like some Black Lives Matter bullshit.
Yeah, and you know, I saw Luke Cage. I believe it was Jessica Jones, and they did a really good job with him, I thought. I have not watched the Luke Cage series yet. But again, I think it comes down to story. You know, this is not, you know, I don't think this is a story that the vast majority or even a minority of Marvel readers want to read about. I mean, you know, this whole kind of thing started with the Michael Brown hands up, don't shoot. That was basically proven to be a lie. That did not happen. The you know, putting his hands up and saying don't shoot, that did not occur. That was based on a lie. Multiple media outlets had to come back and reframe their story, issue retractions and corrections because of what they did, of the false nature of the story. Unfortunately, the damage was already done. So,
did they mention like what her powers were or anything?
You know, it doesn't say here.
Miss Coates,
because you may not. That's the writer actually. But yeah, you may find this hard to believe, but I don't read this book.
Well, I thought they might just mention them. Because did you hear about the America chick, the Latino?
Yeah, we talked about her, I believe, a couple episodes ago. That's just a nightmare too.
Yeah, she's got the teleportation or global whatever it is,
and she can go back in time.
Punched Hitler before Captain America did. Yeah, that's some stupid shit.
Yeah.
I don't mind it if it's like, I mean, we're crossing, but DC with Green Lantern, he was Hal Jordan, then they made him a black guy, and then they made a Latino guy, and now one of those versions is gay. I don't know if it's a fourth character or one of the other characters, but you know, go ahead, whatever.
Well, the
character's right.
Yeah, exactly. But the difference with the Green Lantern is Green Lantern. There's like hundreds of thousands of Green Lanterns or tens of thousands of Green Lanterns. You know, you can have Green Lantern be whomever. It doesn't have to be Hal Jordan. That's the nice thing about it.
But don't do it to Thor.
Mantle. It's a mantle. Yeah, Thor is not a mantle. Thor is a character. So, yeah. So anyway, let's see. It says here, Gizmodo writer Charles Pulliam Moore took issue with Marvel's business decision to opine how the publisher was canceling the only mainstream comic featuring a majority black cast of characters, describing it as a bad look for Marvel. The writer said the publisher should have considered more thoughtful approaches instead of canceling the underperforming title. What? I mean, okay, Marvel, yes, is trying to push social justice, but they also have to look after their bottom line. And some of their books are under 10,000 issues a month. That's insanely low. I mean, a good performing book is about 20,000. And so being under 10,000 is incredibly low. Back in the 90s, some of the Marvel issues were selling about 1 million copies a piece. Some of the Chris Claremont X-Men stuff, they were selling about 1 million copies a piece back in the day, which shows you how much the comics market has fallen. I mean, Marvel was in bankruptcy like 15 years ago. And that was turned around by some of the guys that are now putting it in the toilet again, which is pretty interesting.
Shocker.
So this the same guy from Gizmodo argued that the comic book industry, quote, needs to change in order to sustain itself and cultivate new readers. Well, yeah, everybody agrees with that. But what do you have in mind, sir? And he says that stories like The Crew deserve to be told, but he offers no solution for culturally relevant comics that just don't sell. And that's the thing. Yeah, okay, he says they need to change in order to sustain themselves and cultivate new readers. Well, no shit, dumbass. But how do you think that? I mean, what the only change they can do right now is stop with the social justice shit and pull their books out of the toilet. Like, what does this guy want? What is he suggesting? Oh, he's not suggesting anything because he's an idiot. So yeah, Marvel is an absolute mess. Marvel Cinematic or Marvel Studios, they're in great shape. Marvel Comics is a complete dumpster fire. There's pretty much nothing good at Marvel right now. There's a few books here and there, but basically it's just a disaster.
Yeah, it really is. I didn't really mind when Star Trek turned Sulu gay. Us with really any canon, so
yeah, it didn't bother me at all. I mean, the way it was done was very tastefully, and
very subtly.
Yeah, very subtle, very
subtly
tastefully. And I had absolutely no problem with that. Yeah, I didn't have any problem with that whatsoever.
But when you freaking turn, like we were talking about this off air, but when you freaking put predators in Antarctica, when their whole canon is about being in the hottest places, only at the hottest times of the year, you know, you're fucking with canon. Stop it.
What is this?
Alien versus Predator. When the aliens were in Antarctica. The heat.
Yeah, movie. I saw that movie once. It was terrible. I never watched it again. Those are some shit movies.
Quit violating canon. Like, I get that, like, of like superheroes are all based on either a different superhero or just stupid. I am a billionaire philanthropist playboy, said Tony Stark in Batman. Oh, and both geniuses. And my guy is a weapons manufacturer. Well, my guy is the world's best detective. Languages, has a forensics degree. Like, come on, man. What shit is this happening?
Yeah, I don't know.
Your characters are crap to begin with. Like Zod and Superman have the same powers, even though Superman spent a lifetime adapted to the Earth's sun to get his powers. But then, hi, I just arrived. I can kick everybody's ass. Your development and your characters suck already. Quit ruining them.
Yeah, I don't know. I hope Marvel Comics turns it around. They really need to do something about it. There's this guy that works for he writes for the New York Times, and he's started a YouTube channel recently where he takes on Marvel Comics directly and calls them out for this kind of shit. He just did a video on Brian Michael Bendis. I can't remember the book. I can't remember what book it is because I haven't kept up on comics in 10 years. Although I really did enjoy Bendis's Ultimate Spider-Man run. I followed that I think almost all the way to the end. Maybe not, but that was some really good stuff, especially the first few years. But he's gone total social justice warrior. And I don't know. It's a very different climate than what comics was a decade ago. So I don't know. I hope they can pull it out of the toilet and salvage these characters and start putting out good books again. So DC's doing some good stuff right now. My friend gives me graphic novels, or basically collected where they collect the 6-issue arcs into a paperback, and he'll give me those every once in a while. And some of the Batman stuff has been really good. So DC, I think overall is doing a better job at telling good stories than Marvel. Marvel's basically abandoned storytelling for virtue signaling is basically what it
Which
is.
is a shame.
Yeah, it's a real shame because they have some great characters. Fortunately, you have the Marvel Cinematic Universe, which is, man, they just can't seem to put out a bad movie. Now, some of them aren't as good as others, but I don't know that they've had a bad movie yet. Iron Man 2, maybe.
Wow. How quickly we forget the 2 Incredible Hulks in 1 year.
There weren't 2 Incredible Hulks in 1 year.
The Norton and the Banner Hulks that were back to back.
They weren't back to back. There were a few years between. The Banner movie is not a Marvel Studios. That does not count as a Marvel Studios release. The Marvel Cinematic Universe began with the first Hulk, which wasn't great, but I'm not going to say it was a bad movie. It was passable. It was okay. But that one almost doesn't count either. Like it's in the canon, but I think most people
Dark at the end.
Yeah, but I think most people kind of consider Iron Man to be
the first Iron Man. Yeah,
to be the birth of the cinematic universe. And Iron Man 2 was a little bloated and kind of boring, especially toward the end.
Speaking of bloated.
Speaking of bloated,
yeah, he wasn't looking too good.
What's that?
That was a Mickey Rooney comment. Just good God, man.
Hey guys.
Surgery.
Yeah, go ahead.
I'm not feeling too hot, so yeah, I'm not feeling too hot right now, so and I can't stay awake much longer.
No worries.
So,
yeah, we got started late, so once you hit the sack.
All right, thanks guys.
Yeah,
had
talk
fun.
To you later. Okay, thanks.
Bye.
All righty.
Bye. So yeah, do you want to say anything more about Marvel?
No, I think we beat that shit into the ground.
Yeah, we did.
Did they? Are they making the Flash? Did they make him Mexican this time?
I don't think
in the DC Cineverse.
I can't remember the
Asian
kid playing. No, let me look him up. He was actually in a pretty good movie. Let me look it up real quick. Yeah, he was in a good movie called We Need to Talk About. What's the kid's name in the movie? Sorry, 1 second. It's Ezra Miller. And yeah, I don't think he's. I don't know. He looks like he might have some kind of
Ezra.
Let's see.
Yeah, I know what ethnicity is now.
Okay, it looks like he's half Jewish, half German, Dutch. Okay, so he was in a movie called We Need to Talk About Kevin, which was actually pretty good. It was a pretty good movie about he's a psycho kid, sociopath, no conscience, and ends up
how about that?
Shooting up a school with a bow and arrow and killing a bunch of kids. And pretty good movie, I have to say. It was very good. But so I think he's going to be fine. He's a good actor, so he should do a good job.
He looked decent. Look, he's holding it soon.
So
speaking of being replaced and it not going well for the company.
Speaking of committing corporate suicide, we've got Fox News fired Bill O'Reilly recently, and that is not working out well for them. From the Daily Caller, firing Bill O'Reilly is looking like a big mistake. Fox News falls to last place, which is insane.
Daily Caller.
It's not the Daily Caller. Oh, sorry, Daily Wire. Sorry, Daily Wire.
You know, the Daily Caller is headed by Tucker Carlson.
Oh, is it?
Well, it was. And
yeah, I don't think
funny.
he would have. I don't think he had. Yeah, that
would
be
news. I replaced Bill O'Reilly, and we're going to shit.
Although at this point, he probably could publish that story on the Daily Caller and not get fired because they need him now. So basically, for the first time in nearly 15 years, Fox News could be on the edge of losing its dominance in the cable news wars. On Monday, the embattled network dropped to last place behind both MSNBC and CNN. I cannot believe they are behind MSNBC. And that's for the primetime 25 to 54 age bracket. Yeah, that is
prime numbers.
That is crazy. I mean, yeah, so he says here, the left-wing MSNBC bludgeoned Fox with 503,000 demo, 503,000 viewers compared to 371,000.
Which is really, those are shit numbers. I mean, Sargon makes that on a video.
Yeah, I mean, PewDiePie reaches more people on a day than, by a factor of 10 or something like that.
Yeah, but PewDiePie has 55 million subscribers.
Yeah.
Sargon has 350,000.
Yeah, that's true.
And he still hits those numbers.
Yeah, he does. And the daily
Phil DeFranco's got 5 million. He beats that.
Wow, I did not know he had that many. They point out while it's fair to argue to wait and see how things shake out, it is also fair to draw a straight line from the firing of Bill O'Reilly and a slump for Fox News. Which,
really, it's been going down since Roger Ailes was fired.
Yeah.
That's how.
Basically, the rumor is that the Ailes, his sons, who now run the place, they lean left. So they do. They're going, the rumor is they're going to try to steer this to a left-leaning, another left-leaning news site, as if the world needed that. So that should be just great. So the article says, whatever you might think of O'Reilly, by firing him, Fox broke the first rule of scandals, which goes something like this. If you are a big corporation that relies heavily on public goodwill, you leave it up to the customers to render the verdict on a scandal, or you risk an existential crisis against your brand. And I think that's exactly what's happened. O'Reilly was incredibly popular on that channel. He led ratings, not just for Fox, but for all of cable news for 15 years. He's well loved by the octogenarian demo. And that's why you see so many ads for tubs with doors,
butt creams
and all kinds of stuff like that. So yeah, this is going to be. Oh, and it points out here, at the height of the scandal, O'Reilly's ratings shot up. In the days leading up to his termination, and even though O'Reilly was on vacation, the Factor held on its audience, the highest in all of cable news. So the guy wasn't even there and still had the highest ratings in all of cable news. Stupid. It's not Ailes kids. It's Murdoch's kids, James and Lachlan. Yeah. So stupid. Yeah. They are very stupid, and they're going to feel this for a while, I think.
But if you look at the numbers, MSNBC, the numbers didn't go to CNN. They just stopped.
Yeah, they just didn't watch.
Yeah, they didn't go anywhere else and give a boost to Anderson Pooper.
No, they just didn't watch Fox News. They just didn't watch them, and that's a bad sign. I mean, I would say that most of them are probably going to come back, or a good portion of them will come back when things kind of settle down. Tucker Carlson is very popular. Hannity, of course, is very popular. But nowhere near O'Reilly numbers.
Tucker is really bringing in that younger demographic. Not that he's like beloved or anything yet, but he's still,
Well, he's
Tucker.
Oh yeah, and he's a big favorite over on the Donald. You know, because he brings on regressive guests. You know, from idiot protesters to moronic students to pretentious professors. He brings them on and basically destroys them, and that gets a lot of people excited.
I like it.
Yeah, I love Tucker. He's great. I think he just closed like a book deal north of 10 million or something like that. So good for him.
Nice. I used to see him on I've seen him on all the channels.
Oh yeah, yeah. He's been watching
CNN. He's been on MSNBC. Yeah.
Yep.
Finally found a home at Fox. That's nice.
Yeah, good for him.
But I'm just glad they got rid of Megyn Kelly. I did not like her.
I remember my brother really liking her when she came on, and liked her, I guess, feistiness and stuff like that. But then she kind of slowly started to
pivoted.
Yeah, she pivoted and started going towards regressive leftism. So now she's on like Good Morning America or something like that. Like she's on, I'm not even sure. I think she's on some morning show, you know, on a left, you know, sort of a like ABC, NBC, one of those left leaning networks. So
not a shocker.
So anyway, well, I guess that's about it. Do we want to maybe take questions from our very tiny audience? What do you got, Steven? You got any questions? I'm not sure how to say. I think it's Zaffin. Is it Zaffin? Is that correct? Give me a yes or a no on that. Zaffin. Just waiting on the delay for the YouTube to run through.
For the tube of you.
For all two of them. Talk about the damn Turkish thug squad, Blarg. Yeah, it's Zaffin pretty much. Okay. What do you got on the Turkish? It's Edragan. It's Edragan, yeah.
Actually, the henchman. I have. I love Stacey Dash on Fox News, Steven. He's a dictator, so I doubt his bodyguards had to. Because I actually, I am a licensed bodyguard, and there's training involved with handling groups of people in any kind of situation, and there's courses dedicated to dealing with crowds and to deal with people, and I doubt they had very much use of that sort of training, being that he was a dictator, and you tend not to protest dictators anywhere a dictator is because he has you jailed.
Makes sense.
So when you are dealing with something like that, and it even happens with cops, and they have to do a lot of training about it. When you're in a police chase, you know, you're chasing down somebody, your heart gets pumping, your adrenaline gets pumping. You want to pull that motherfucker out of the vehicle, throw him to the ground. It's what you want to do because your heart's pumping, you're racing, and that is what you deal with, and you end up having people who go too far. And since these are the thugs of a dictator, you know, I'm pretty sure there's boots to the head all the time dealing with people in Egypt or Turkey or Lebanon or Syria or any number of countries where, you know, human rights aren't high on the list.
Yes, indeed.
So while I'm not forgiving it, I'm saying that's bound to happen.
All right.
Why were they the ones enforcing against the protest to begin with? You know,
it's a good question. I don't know. I didn't really follow that story. It's one that kind of I was like, oh, I'll get to that, and I never did.
There should have been a police line, and if you crossed it, expect to get your ass whooped.
Yeah. All right. Well, Steven wants to know, if we are familiar with
No.
Top Cow, Aspen, or Image Comics.
No, I have no idea what any of those are.
I used to follow Aspen. I can't remember if that's Top Cow.
Night. What did I want? Night.
Which one had oh man, what is her name? Michael, the guy who died of cancer. Damn it.
Michael Landon?
He also died of cancer, but he didn't make comic books. Oh, come on, Steven. Who am I thinking of?
Now we have to wait a minute.
Oh my
gosh.
gosh.
I'm trying to think of the one time. Night Horse? Was that a comic?
Michael. Michael Turner. Thank you. Yeah, Michael Turner. I used to follow his work. He was not only was he a really, really good artist, just a super great guy too. And even after he got cancer, he was still cranking out comics basically up until he died.
Of course, Steven met him.
And there's the other guy that was very, very popular around when Michael Turner was working, was Joe Madrura. And I hate that son of a bitch.
Why?
That guy, what
did he do?
Okay,
where did he touch you?
He did this comic, and I've gone back and read through it a little bit, probably in the last 5 years, and it's terrible. It's legitimately god awful. But the art and the characters, the character designs really grabbed me. It was called Battle Chasers. And I think he got through 6.5 or 7.5 issues in like 5 years. And he kept promising, he kept promising, I'm going to get back. We're going to do it monthly. Next month, you're going to have another issue. Just stay tuned and all this. And so I was really invested in this comic, and he just wouldn't do the work. He was lazy. He wanted to do video games. He for the next decade, he tried his hand at video games, and all of his video games were complete garbage and went nowhere. And it really pissed me off because I had invested time. I'd invested, I guess, energy. I'd invested, money to the extent that the issues cost money. I did have to pay. I got in a little bit late to the game, so the first 2 issues. I think I paid, $20 or $30 for the issue. So yeah, it really bothered me, and I never really forgave him for that. And then you contrast him with Michael Turner, who has fucking cancer, and he's still putting out the books basically almost till the day he died, and was just a really good guy, very cool with the fans. So anyway, Joe Madrura, I still hate the guy.
I can sympathize. I am a big Harry Dresden fan. And Jim Butcher, the author, has over 13 books in. He started doing a couple of other series. And now we're stalled at book 16. I'm waiting for book 17, and it's been like 3 years.
Is this these are novels?
Yeah, they're actual books.
Actual books, okay.
And,
well, that's fun.
Like without just pictures.
Finish the story, man. Finish the story.
Yeah. And he's putting in effort at other ones, and I'm like, dude, fucking make my book already. You son of a bitch.
That's right. That's right, Steven. You're right. He did start at Top Cow and then started Aspen Comics. I can't remember the Aspen character. I don't know what book that was from, but that was decent. I remember I bought those. They were decent books. He says Joe is a friend of my artist friend. Well, hey, Steven, I've always said this. If you want to tell your artist friend, tell Joe, all it will take is one issue. One more issue of Battle Chasers to wrap up the story. Might have to be a double issue, but wrap up the story. All will be forgiven. All will be forgiven. kind of like if George Lucas releases the unbastardized versions, the unspecialized versions of the Star Wars trilogy, all will be forgiven.
Fuck that guy. Hand shot first.
Actually, Han did not shoot first. He's the only one that shot. Greedo never pulled the trigger. Greedo just got his ass crisped.
I thought he fired off to the side.
In the special edition, he did. Yeah. In the original cut, Han Solo just blasts him, and he falls over dead. And that's when you knew you didn't want to fuck with Han Solo.
Well, no, I mean that pisses me off because Greedo had a gun on him, and that is end of story. You cannot pull a gun and shoot somebody who is pointing a gun at you. Fucked. That's why you don't point guns at people.
Yeah, Greedo.
So no, he's not a cold-blooded murderer. That is a form of self-defense. You didn't need to have, a pistol drawing bullshit where you try to fix it and post at it. He was dead nuts nailed with a gun on him, and he managed to slickly pull a gun and shoot him.
Well, and the thing is, if you follow the dialogue, he says, basically, Han says, "Look, okay, sorry, let me start over." Greedo comes up to him and says, "Hey, Jabba's been looking for you. He wants his money." He says, "Well, I've got the money. I just picked up a charter. I'll be able to pay. Just tell Jabba I'll pay him back in a little bit." And then Greedo says, "Well, if you give me the money, I'll forget I found you." And he says, "Well, I don't have the money with me." And then Greedo basically says, "Look, I've been looking forward to this for a long time," insinuating he's going to, pull the trigger and blast him, right? So I mean, that's plenty. He's got a gun on him and he's threatening him. So he pulls the trigger and blows him away. But also it makes absolutely no sense that when Lucas used the computer fuckery to redo the scene. So Greedo's got the gun maybe 3.5 feet. The barrel of the gun is 3.5 feet from Solo's chest, from his face, right?
Mm-hmm.
And he misses. How do you miss that? Stupid. Anyway,
that is some shit.
So anyway, all will be forgiven if Disney releases those finally. I will forgive George for the crimes of the prequels and the worst crimes of the special editions. So, and I'll forgive Joe if he ever finishes off Battle Chasers. Then we'll be chums again. This guy I've never met and read his books like 19 years ago or 18 years ago. So when I was just a kid. So anyway. Well, I think we've kind of droned on long enough.
Run this into the ground?
Yeah. So we are going to sign off. We'll see you guys next week. And thanks for listening. Thanks for liking and commenting and sharing. We appreciate all 3 of you that do that. 3 might be generous, but we still appreciate you guys. So this is the Brash Rhino signing off. And Jay?
Traps aren't gay.
That is a controversy, isn't it? So, all right.
Baseball arrived.
Yeah, I know, just at the tail end. But
a little late there, buddy.
Yeah, we'll message you guys. All right. Take care.